Okay, sorry about that. Have to align it. I must have pressed something. Sorry about that. Align ourselves. Sorry. And let's move on over. It's pretty warm, and of course it's clobber time, of course. So yeah, clobber time. Okay, so I was, as I said, I was thinking of popping this in the box, but just take this clobber off, because we've got to talk about Bananaforma mania. What I really mean about that, you know, coming over from WA to Southern Appleland, as we call it now. You know, so yeah, I don't know where I had some nice bluish turquoise. Oh, this is what Heather's been wearing actually. And so I thought maybe that should go over the back sort of thing, but yeah. So as I was thinking of putting that in your parcel, and yeah, Christmas bloody silkies. I've got a whole week's worth of extra silkies. Pizza good enough to eat, sort of thing. I know I've been doing my upping my exercise, and after I had my fruit in the morning, I'm almost doing a python in the bowl sort of thing. So I don't know whether this really is fat or not, or whether I'm just full of shit. Yeah. So couldn't find the turquoise thing. Oh, I think I put it aside somewhere, and you know me, I put things aside. So yeah, so these will be your Christmas book presents. I don't know. So that one there, you get a kick out of it, I suppose, if you've never seen that one. So I think, I don't know. And then this one about Darwin. Of course, I'll wrap them up in what's it, paper, Christmas paper. But I'm giving you this one, and don't be too. It's a sort of a hand-me-down for. I sent some seeds to Rossi in New Zealand, not knowing what the this one here, not knowing what the situation was over there. I don't know. I've been a member for many years. I've been dealing with Rodney Boone for many years, and I seem like a good old, you know, nice gentleman sort of thing. And I got this this thing. God, it's getting a bit hot. I think I'm going to have to take it off. Too hot in the shed to wear that, but it was a nice gesture. But yeah, MBK. I think they're like baubles. They're like baubles on the Christmas tree. I think each one's a N and a P and a K. I think there's something else going on. I think there's an underlying Christmas tree there, but of course all this other stuff was done back in the day when they didn't have all these fancy machines. They could actually measure this and that and blah blah blah. And I mean, you must know there's something wrong when CPers on these CP papers are talking about nanograms. I've already gone into this conversation, but you know, when they're trying to justify situations out in the real world, the ecology. The climax of the ecology out there, and they're talking about nanograms. Like it's all dependent on nanograms. I'm thinking, no. I think there's a completely different underlying story. And Australia, or Southern Appleland, is it? It's actually telling you the underlying story. You know, this so-called gutless soil that becomes. I better set my thing going, because I think I've got about half an hour on this, and then I can download and do another one or something. So I think I've been talking for at least 5 minutes. It's about 2 o'clock when I was on there. It's now 2:10, so I'll keep that going. So I better put it down there so I don't miss it. It's gone off. These things. Anyway, so as I said, I got this as a thank you present for all the seeds I tried to send people in New Zealand. Of course, I'm so honest, you know, George Washington's birthday and all that, and so I dotted the I's and crossed the T's, and of course my packages got picked up, and I think only one thing got through, which was the Brook Monroe form of. You know, I think it was pygmy or something sent so there. But then again, look, you got the advantage of snack there. What had happened is someone had there's two competing stories. I was on the internet, someone said something about Rodney. You do know he ran off with the master set. And I thought, I couldn't believe it when he said this sort of thing. It's also like the bloke, another bloke said on it, this apparently, I thought this was based on the bloke in England who wrote the book with a similar sort of title, and then this was done as like an compendium from that sort of the advanced sort of version sort of thing. And of course it has some nice photographs, including the Richard Bradley or Brad Richards photographs. I can never remember which way round it is in here. And the best one that I picked out many years ago, and I actually said, you know, online, oh, that's the best one, which is the one I show you all the time. That's not reproduced properly in this book, and I'm thinking, what are the odds? It's a bit like the sort of My Carnivorous Plant Society shenanigan. What are the odds that the best photograph, best Venus flytrap in the book of Venus flytrap is the one that's not reproduced properly? Was that the one they started? You know, because then you got all this plausible deniability. Was that the one they started with and they didn't get it right, or was that the one they ended with and didn't get it right? I don't know, but there's all this, you know, plausible deniability, which I think we now learn is plausible deniability is just bunk. It's you know, political bullshit basically. Anyway, don't be perturbed me handing this down to you. I think you'll get a kick out. I've read it decently like once, but all this stuff in the beginning, this thing here, all about, you know, the ecology of the Venus flytrap. I've read that before. I better put it back in the box or something, or over here somewhere. I've read that before, and it's sort of more detailed in here in the Venus flytrap paper. If I can, this is what I took to WA, and I've had it for years. I've had it since the 94. I think I got this out of the this paper here. What got me is this talks about the White Lakes here, or White Lakes, and White Lakes is one of these serpentine areas, of course, so you don't find that out unless you do some research, of course. Doesn't mention anything about the White Lake information, even though you can tell from here they are actually trying to quote big slabs out of this big paper. They don't mention the important thing, like in the White Lakes area, they have Venus flytraps growing under the water for at least 10 years or more. You know, not rotting off or anything, and they mention about, you know, stories about pirates in the old days picking up water from these moccasins and it being potable or drinkable for a lot longer. You know, they get the old barrels and stuff and go in and walk into these dangerous swamps, I suppose, at the wrong time of year, and fill them up with the water, and of course it lasts for 8 months or more, you know, at sea, you know, a lot longer than the normal water would, but no one explains why, you see. I don't think they know why, but, and then you've got all these other comments about there's something in the soil that makes the traps go red, but they never say what it is. So I say, well, do you really know? It's all this, certain this, they always talk in these papers, certain. It's a bit when they did that pinguicular thing in the paper. In this paper, it was so infuriating. There is a particular pinguicular that grows with the Venus flytrap in the wild, but they don't mention which one it is. So, as I said before, whether it was actually part of the PhD paper, and you're probably going to have to order a PhD paper, and it's, you know, it could be like 3 or 4, maybe 5 times as thick as that paper. I don't know. That's just like a cut down version. I better put my feet up, but I better finish doing what we're doing here first. Couple of things for you. I think this is the best thing that David Attenborough has done, and of course it's the Blu-ray, so you'll get the proper, you know, if you've got a big TV, you'll enjoy this. It's set up well, and then of course this old-fashioned thing, but it's worth, if you haven't seen it, I don't know, being stuck in South Africa or something for all those times. You know that video you put up originally or something? You were talking like you were a child or something like that, or young teenager or something. Was that from a long time ago, like you've done lots of others, and you just put up a salient one or something, talking about, you were talking about your sister or something, or following your sister in the bush or something, up this track or something. Is that from years ago? I don't know, but it would be nice to know that. I watched it and I'm thinking, you know, the fact that you're doing these videos now, and how old you are now and coming into Australia and all that, I'm thinking something quite doesn't add up. Either that video was made like 20 years ago or something, I don't know, but there'll be stuff in these US. As I said, it's the Christmas stuff. I knew it would happen. That's why this is going to be. That's why I'm calling this one a belated Christmas present. And I already set you up for that months ago, because I knew this was going to happen. Because the bloody Australia Post, we're getting like maybe 2 deliveries a week now. We used to go every day of the week, but then we went to like 3 days a week, and of course parcel post has become so big, you know. I don't know why they don't subsidise the normal mail stuff. This will fit into one of those large satchels. Now the trick with the satchels is it's weight independent. It goes for the price. So the bags those plastic satchels seem a bit pricey, but what it is, whatever you can get in there that doesn't rip them or something like that, even if you put a box inside them with stuff in there, it goes for the price of the satchel. So you could put a lead brick in here or something, it would still go for the price of the plastic satchel. Whereas if you did it with in a padded bag, it'll go via the letter rate sort of thing. Now if you put your padded bag inside a plastic satchel, it'll go for the plastic satchel thing, so you can protect your seeds. But unfortunately, I might slip a bit of dosh in here just to cover that difference that Courtney made that mistake. $3 to $12. I might stick a $10 note in, something like that. I don't know. To see how generous I am. And yeah, hopefully this is still going. I said I cut the very beginning of this clip off by accident, you know, trying to get the bloody thing in the tripod. Your seeds will be in here, sort of thing, and there'll be the glid, there'll be Peltana folios, hooker eye, which you saw me go down and get. There'll be the Mincara one, you just saw me finally getting. I don't know if there's any seeds in there or what, I don't know. Just do the same thing as you did before. Just stick it down in the pot and see what comes up. Hopefully you'll get some, I mean, well, you've had the advantage of actually germinating them, growing them, but remember, it's the average size is half your little fingernail. Half that is the average size of Mincara. In other words, it's a quarter of the size of a normal, regular Brook Monroe mountain bowl pygmy sort of thing. So it's 1/4 that size, and that half of a little fingernail is basically 1/3 of a 5-cent piece coin. So you get your little 5-cent piece out of your pocket, and the actual rough average maximum size of a Mincara is 1/3 of a 5-cent. That's what people don't see. No, they think, what are you going on about? I'm saying, it's that small. It's the smallest sundew in the world, and people are saying, but it's just a pygmy. I'm saying, no. Not that size. I mean, it's basically half the size of an see, occidentalis is half the size of a normal pygmy, and then this is basically half the size of an occidentalis, which means it's 1/4 of pygmy, and which is about 1/3 of a 5-cent coin. So you know, you've seen the 5-cent coin out in the wild. You've got your own 5-cent coin. Why don't you check it out? Can you imagine the size of the schnapp balls on them? I don't know if you look at the picture of Drossera Missa or Ericsson's Missa in the Gordon Cheers 2 book, you see the size of the schnapp balls on those. They're bloody incredible. I think I'll probably have to, if I do another clip, if this runs out in a while, I might just show you all, take a photograph. I think I'll put one online or something. But the schnapp balls on that, incredible. But then again, a Missa is one of these strange sundews, strange pygmy sundews that seems to go like through at least 4 different stages in its life. You know, I talk about, you know, the glid over in WA, because the season's so much more extended. I swear it goes through another phase that we don't get here because our season's too short, whereas in WA it goes through another like cute stage that you don't get here because the season's so much compressed. You get a hint of it sometimes here if you have a really good season, but over there the season's so much longer that you get to see this other stage that the glid has. Whereas with Ericsson's and Missa, it seems to go through like 4 different stages, from gemmy to the mature plant sort of thing, and of course it's quite a large plant. It gets, you know, 50-cent piece size or bigger sort of thing. And as I said, when I was over in WA, I saw what I thought was a completely new form of pygmy, but then again, that could be just another stage in a life cycle of something along the lines of Missa sort of thing. So I don't know. But as I said, I saw something that I think, wow, I've never seen something like, you know, this is me talking about, that's a different overall structural look to a pygmy. But then again, I've got to put the provisor on it. It could be an emitter type sort of pygmy that goes through a number of stages. I mean, that different look, that different architecture of the plant could be just one of these. I don't know, it could be a pygmy that goes through 6 stages, I don't know, and I just caught it on the right day that had this other thing, I don't know, but it's in the Stirling ranges, and as they say, every 500 metres, half the species, in 500 metres, half a kilometre, or half the species is different, so, you know, it fits in that you would see a strange one there, you know. So and yeah, the soil's very interesting too. So anyway, so I think I've lost my train of thought. I'll see if I can find it. So as I said, Heather. Oh yes, let's get on to. I don't know how much time we got, but this is my copy of Plants of Prey without the cover because I've had it so many years, of course. But I originally did have the falling apart cover. I put in there, but I gave up eventually. It's just so many years. But yeah, Plants of Prey by Rickert Erickson. It has these plates in there. You know, Plants of Prey. There we go. Oh, okay. Yeah. This one is a lamb edition. But my dad, he came home, and I swear he said to me, he got it from University of WA Press. And I reckon this was like, they used this as a galley proof or something to do the next edition. Because when those 2 scientists turned up my parents' place in WA, they were a bit pissed off that I had a copy of this and they couldn't get hold of a copy. But then again, I may have been handed down the galley proof thing that they used to make the version that they were hanging out for, basically. Then the next version that came out in the middle 70s sort of thing. But there are slight differences in this book, and you know, a full stop missing here, something else there, just slight subtle differences. So it has these plates, and of course I was showing these people, these scientists, oh it's that one, Granulitera, blah blah blah. Whether when they got their copy, you know, in the middle of the 70s, whether their copy, the plates were slightly different or they'd been inverted or something, I don't know, but apparently they went off and touched a completely different sundew. Well, that's plausible deniability again, I don't know. But in here somewhere we have the Drosera binata diagram somewhere in here, one of the pages. Been a while since I've turned the pages over. Now, Drosera gigantea just doesn't do it justice. You know, absolute monster. Yeah, Drosera arcturi, and of course this is the one showing Drosera. I don't know if he's keeping that Drosera binata in there. When I came across from WA to here, I got a shock because it's all here. It's like 8 or 9 species. It's always the same 8 or 9 species. But the one that wasn't in WA was here, or would be a brand new species for me to see in the wild sort of thing, was Drosera binata. Of course, in the intervening time since there, Drosera binata supposedly has been discovered in WA. Whether it was planted there, I don't know. But apparently, I think it was Robert Gibson that actually discovered it, but he's being so magnanimous, whether he co-discovered it with someone, he doesn't want to, you know, boldly say, yes, that was me. But if you read the articles, it gives the impression that he actually discovered Drosera binata out in the wild there. Oh, okay, the backstory on Robert Gibson. He got straight A's at university, won the, was it not the Fields Medal, whatever the geology medal is for the thing. Got his honours down at Tasmania, and he discovered the biggest lead silver deposit or something down in Tasmania. The Mount something or other, whatever it's called, I've forgotten the name of it there. During his honours project, he discovered the largest thing down there. So basically, BHP, you know, working for the company, he's got a job for, you know, if he needs money, they'll give him money somehow, because he discovered for them the largest silver lead deposit in Australia's history, I think, while he was on his honours project. So unfortunately, when he got sent out to WA, yeah, up north, I think it was, he couldn't handle the loneliness. So he's he's got all the all the accoutrements, got straight A's, won all the prizes, blah blah blah. Can't handle the loneliness. Not like me. You stick me out in the bloody middle of nowhere, and I'll handle it somehow. You know what I mean? If you could hybridise me and Robert Gibson to you, it'd be all right.